video. My name is Cam Ward and today I'm finally going to be talking about my thoughts and feelings on the RED Scarlet W. In this video you'll find out if I've wasted £20,000, and as always it's not going to be a full comprehensive review, it's just my thoughts and feelings of using this camera after about 6 or 7 months. So let's get straight into it. I upgraded from the Sony A7S Mark II to the RED Scarlet W, and so far the transition's been great. I still use the Sony A7S Mark II in a lot of situations, but when it comes to actual commercial music video, kind of some bigger live events and fashion work, the Scarlet W has blown it out of the water. So let's talk about image quality. This is a beautiful image. Far better than the Sony's in my opinion. It's very sharp but also soft, similar to that of like film. I will say though that, you could probably get a similar image under the right lighting conditions with the Sony. But if you're someone like me that's a bit run and gun, a lot of the time you're working with natural light. So to be able to push the colors even further with the raw data of the RED is fantastic. So one of the main reasons I upgraded from the Sony A7S Mark II to a bigger camera is because when I was doing my grading, I found that the image was really starting to fall apart, really pushing the image as far as it could go. The RED, I've had no such issues so far. I've been able to work with it really easily in post. Obviously it is raw data. And one of the main reasons I actually upgraded to the RED, I was going to get the FS5 or the FS7, but the RED can record ProRes, and working with the files is just so much easier than anything on the Sony A7S has ever been able to do. Working with 5K files from the RED is flawless. It's so easy in Premiere. I have a really hard time working with the Sony A7S files, the 1080p and the 4K, because of the codec they're in. They're very compressed files, and it means Premiere has to work harder to decode them as you're rendering. That's why it can be very laggy and a bit choppy. I've used the RED Scarlet W now in some extreme heat in like Dubai, where it's been super hot for like 100 degrees. And then in extreme cold as well, so in New York it was like -60, -17 degrees recently. The camera was absolutely fine, it worked flawlessly. I thought I was going to have a load of issues with the RED camera because I've heard some horror stories, but I've had no issues so far. I probably jinxed it, but okay. Scarlet W is great because I can actually pack it down into a backpack. I used the Peak Design backpack. I thought portability was going to be an issue, but it really wasn't. So another great thing about this camera is that it's future-proof. It shoots 5K up to 60 frames per second and 4K up to 150 frames per second. So for me, that is fantastic. The thing is with this camera is that it truly is amazing, but there are a lot of downsides to it, which I've discovered over the past few months, which I want to talk about now. So first of all, let's talk about low light. Obviously coming from the A7S Mark II, I've been a bit spoiled. The RED can go to about ISO 1600 before you start seeing some real noticeable noise. Now I know cinema cameras are meant to be used under more controlled lighting situations as opposed to live events, but I do find it a bit disappointing that it can't go a bit higher, especially when you've got the Panasonic EVA1 with its dual ISOs. It'd be nice to see RED to allow you to push this in future to maybe 2500 to 3000 as a really good usable ISO. You're going to need so much storage if you're shooting a lot with the RED. I've already had to buy several additional hard drives, and not only that is that the storage from RED itself, the SSDs, are pretty damn expensive. The accessories are very bloody expensive. The handle alone, and to be honest, if you're buying this camera or looking to buy this camera, I really highly recommend getting the side handle. The handle alone though costs about £1,000, which is just mad because it's just a handle with a button on it. So in comparison to the Panasonic EVA1, which I believe has an image stabilized sensor similar to that of the Sony A7S Mark II, that is a feature which I absolutely love considering I shoot handheld most of the time, and it'd be great to see RED implement that in the future. So what does baffle me a little bit is how powerful this camera is that the actual menu interface is quite fast, but I do think it could be so much faster and a bit snappier. And I'd love to see a model of the RED cameras with like clip-on or like snap-on accessories rather than needing to bring a screwdriver or several different screwdrivers to each shoot with me. So I know it probably sounds like I've just complained and bitched about this camera an awful lot, but I can't tell you enough how much I actually love it. So did I waste £20,000 on this camera? I'm going to say no. And it's going to be very interesting for me to see this year what Sony come out with. If they bring out an A7S Mark III, which is just like the absolute be-all and end-all of cameras, Personally, I can see myself in a year or two selling this camera and moving on to something else. Like I said, I'm into the RED ecosystem now. I have the accessories and I do love the image quality of these cameras, and I would love to upgrade to the Epic W, but right now the Scarlet W does everything I need. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope I've not kind of droned on too much. If you want to see more use of the RED and some of the footage from it, check out the vlogs, and I will catch you in the next one. If you've got any comments or questions, just drop me a comment below, and yeah.